Hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Car Contemplations. I'm gonna turn my, there. Makes it a little quieter. So yeah, welcome back to Car Contemplations. This is the return of this series after, God, over a year. The last episode of this I did, as you might remember, was the very last time I drove in the Janky Mobile. And that was a pretty tough day for me, mostly because I used that car for essentially everything in my life. So yeah, I took a break, especially since I didn't have a car down in Florida. But now I'm back and I have purchased a new car. I purchased my mom's car. So this is the Janky Mobile 2.0. Or would that be, no, that would be 2.0, I guess. Never really understood how that system of numbering things works. Anyway, so it's weird doing this again. I haven't really done this in a while. I suppose you could call some of my videos that I do like this car contemplations outside of a car, but I don't know. It seems like this is just a better format to do that kind of thing in, because at least there's like some movement outside, and at least I'm actually doing something and thinking of something. But I suppose since I'm back from Florida, it's time to like really get back to this. And if you noticed the other day when I posted that list of videos I'm going to be making, that is until the end of the year when I'm doing those, all the way up to December 31st. Then I don't know what I'm going to do for 2025. I suppose a lot of it will have to depend on on who's leading the free world at that point, because oh boy, this is a fucking weird time we're living in, man. But for right now, we are just going to continue with the normal style videos. I'm not gonna go into politics a lot. That was one thing I did in 2020 on the channel. I tried to turn it into a political commentary channel, like the whole channel into that sort of thing. And a lot of that came from the fact that at that point I was watching a lot of like Colbert and Fallon and what's the other one? Kimmel. And was Conan still doing his show in 20? I don't remember. But I was watching like old Conan bits, and I was really enjoying them. And I thought, hey, why don't I try to do the comedic political commentary too? So most of that came up in the Idiots in a Room podcast. I did a few other little videos. The most recent thing that you could call political, I guess, was where I did that sketch, the audience at the State of the Union address. And that wasn't even meant to be political. The whole point of that was I had just watched the State of the Union address, and I noticed that whenever the president said anything, or like when he did anything in that room, everybody stood up and clapped for at least 30 seconds. And when he entered the room, they were clapping for like almost 10 minutes before he even got up onto the podium. And then the guy announcing him to the speaker said his name again, and it was like another 2 minutes of clapping. So my whole point with that sketch was like, at that point, why not just have everybody stand up? Because every single time they clapped, everybody stood up. So it's like, especially for the older people in the audience, like, what's the point of sitting down if you're just going to stand up like every 2 or 3 seconds? But anyway, So that I didn't mean for that to be political at all. I could see where people kind of might have taken that as a political commentary, but it was not meant to be that whatsoever. Just getting onto the highway here. I'm going to visit my grandma. I'm a little late, actually. I'm supposed to take her out to lunch today. It is hot today. It's 79 right now. Feels like 85. So it's pretty hot, but at least it's not humid. Yesterday was extremely wet and muggy and buggy, and it was just gross. It was really gross out. And it didn't help. It did not help whatsoever that at one point during the day, I had to go down into our window well. If you know what a window well is, a lot of people in basements have them, where it'll be like a crawl space kind of for anyone down in the basement to get out of the house if there's a fire. So we have two window wells, and one of them goes into, or they both go into our yard. But I was in my office yesterday for a second, and I look over at the window, and there's just a frog climbing up the window the netting on the window pane. You know, I'll put the picture up here. But I was like, oh, well, I'm not just gonna let that frog, fall on the rocks and die, because it's not dirt or anything at the bottom. It's a whole bunch of rocks, which is kind of inconvenient. But anyway, I go outside and I jump down into the window well, and to my complete, I don't want to say horror, but it was pretty freaky. A whole nest of frogs was down in the window well, and the reason for that is my parents, they don't have covers for those window wells, because apparently you have to order them special because they're so big, and they cost a lot of money that we just don't want to spend right now. But after seeing that nest of frogs, I'm close to just going out and buying it myself, because that's something that's not very good. So I spent about 15 minutes approximately in that window well, just trying to get all of those frogs out of there and back into the lawn, throwing them into the lawn. And they were very stubborn about it. They didn't want help. I eventually got most of them out. I'm pretty sure there's still two down there. And when I finished, I just couldn't get to. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna call this good. And I get out of the window well, and I happen to go over to the other window well just to see if there's anything down there. And all the fucking frogs had jumped down into my window well. So I got down and I got the ones I could out, and I threw them back in the lawn. And at that point I just said, okay, fuck it. If they get down there, that's their problem. I'll only go down there again if they keep jumping into the window or something. I don't know. But that was not very fun in the muggy, buggy weather that we had yesterday. It just so humid, so damp, just makes everything stick to your body. And as you probably already know, I'm fat. Okay, I'm fat, and that's not fun for a fat person to be just dripping with sweat, doing very not very manual labor. It's not a great experience. So I can say that was not very good. But I don't really know what the point of that story was. It's just something to talk about, I guess, which is the whole point of Car Contemplations. It's just something to talk about. But I think I'm gonna leave this episode here for today, because I'm about to get on the exit to where my grandma lives, and I don't really want you to see her house just because, you know, privacy and stuff. So anyway, thank you all for watching this episode of Car Contemplations. And as I said in that post the other day, Car Contemplations are going to be coming out every Sunday at noon. I didn't put that in the post, but most of my videos come out at noon anyway, so yeah. Every Sunday at noon for the foreseeable future, and if I miss one, I'm not going to make a big deal about it. I'm just going to post it the next week. So anyway, thanks for watching this episode, and I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.